Bang! Neeves Knives, I'm Jared, and we have a couple new QSP knives here. We'll check out this one here in 1 second, but first let's check this one out, and just in case you want to see any of the measurements or anything like that, you can check it out right there. This is the QSP Rhino, and it's pretty awesome. I've been checking it out for a while, so I know there's a couple other videos out there from other people, and it was definitely one I wanted to get my hands on. It comes with a Damascus clip. I think every single one of them have a Damascus clip and backspacer, which is really, really cool. Nice little touch. It has the ceramic ball. I'm not usually a huge fan of the ceramic ball clips, but sometimes they're okay, and this one looks like it'll probably work halfway decently. And then the spirals kind of take out the lines, but if you look at the inside, you will see the lines in, or the the different colors inside or on the backspacer, which is really cool. So it's a titanium frame lock with a tanto, a Japanese style tanto with also a clip point, which is very, very cool. It does have a steel lock bar insert, T8 hardware all the way around, even on the clip, and it has multiple forms of deployment. So you have the flipper, good access to the lock bar, by the way, really good access. I have slow rolled it a few times to make sure it locks up really solid, and yes, it does. Very, very solid. So the flipping action is really good. Then you have the fuller for the reverse flick, which also works really good. Now the front flipper, it works, but it's definitely not as good as it could be. And it's just this, which is actually a cool touch. So I want to make sure I say this, that I love the way this looks with the spiraled back, or spine, I guess, the spine of the knife. It doesn't offer a ton of traction, but and you can kind of feel it spiraling, but it's cool though. I like the way it looks, and it does offer a little bit of traction. However, when you try to use it as a front flipper, it's slippery. It's very slippery, and the spirals don't even go all the way up to the top. Like, they stop early, which even if it was jimping, I wouldn't want that. So I kind of wish they would have just started real jimping right here and just did the top corner of it real, or at least made these a little bit sharper and then make them go all the way up and around. Because it's just not, it works kind of good like this, but when it comes to actually front flipping with your thumb, it's not the best. Now, the blade geometry is decent. It's not bad. It did come very, very sharp. Ergonomics are really, really good. It just fits my hand. I got to say that, though. It just fits my hand. So if you have really large hands, larger than average, then I would say it might be a little bit small for you. But as long as you have large size to, and smaller, I think you'll be just fine. My hands fit perfectly in there, so it's very comfortable for me. And if my hands were any bigger, I would still be okay. But if they were a lot bigger, yeah, it might be a little bit small. But it's still a full-size knife. Now, the titanium is done very well. The edges are crowned really nicely. It does look good. It's a mean-looking knife. I love that. Now, the couple complaints I have, really quick, just face value, because I haven't had it very long or anything like that. Sharpening tool and plunge grind. Come on, guys. Fix the sharpening tool and plunge grind. It's not acceptable because, well, they didn't put they do have internal stop pins. So if you guys are wondering why I'm mentioning that, is because since it's internal stop pins, that usually means you can cut in your own choil, because there's nothing blocking me back here, like a stop pin, from me cutting in my own choil. So if you wanted to add your own choil, it's fine. You have plenty of room. Or if you want to cut in a finger choil, you have plenty of room, which is cool. But just straight from the factory, if I try to sharpen this right now, I'm going to create a smile. 100% I'm going to create a smile. It already has a smile starting. And it's just ugly, and it's going to make it all wonky back here and everything just off of the first sharpening. So you want to make sure you separate the end of the plunge grind from the edge. Like I said, luckily the stop pin is not in the way. And then my next little complaint is the jimping on the flipper tab. Like I was saying about this jimping, this jimping is kind of slippery. This doesn't do anything. This jimping is like, it might as well not be there. It just doesn't do anything. There's no catch from it. You want to use jimping, kind of like this, where you can really, where it really bites you, where it's nice and sharp. Because with this, even if it didn't have jimping, I don't think I would notice. So now the flipping action is good. So I'm not saying the flipping action is bad. I'm just thinking if you're gonna have jimping, might as well work, right? Other than those things though, and the jimping on, or what you would talk about or what you would call jimping right now for the front flipper, I wish it was a little bit better. But all in all, I like it. I like the knife a lot. I think it's very cool. I think it's very, very well done. And yeah, I'm definitely going to be EDCing it. M390 steel. Not, I haven't honestly really, I've sharpened, some QSPs M390, but I haven't tested any. So maybe that's something we'll have to work out here in the near future. Maybe get a little testing on it. But as of right now, I can't speak on their heat treatment. I'm guessing it's like, most of, all the rest of the companies. Now, this next knife is the QSP Hedgehog. And the Hedgehog, just so if you want to see the measurements and everything right here, it's in 14C 28M blade steel, which is very cool. I love that. And this one has the green micarta. And it is a slip joint. It has a half stop. Ooh, nice and snappy. Very comfortable in the hand. Sheep's foot blade. Ooh, and it's a nice deep hollow grind. That's cool. Okay, yeah, that thing's nice and thin. Look at that. Wow. Yeah, that's going to slice good. Very good. And it's pretty easy to close one-handed. Yeah, it's pretty cool. The micarta seems like pretty good quality. They got it scalloped and really nicely, so it adds a little bit of texture in the hand. It's a good size. The spring tension's strong enough to where I'm going to feel confident using it, but not so strong that I can't close it one-handed. Nicely centered. The pull on it, I would say, so you have a lot hanging out, so it's easy to grab onto. So the tension, I would call it a 6, but maybe a 6 to 7. But because it's so easy to grab and you have the fuller plus a lot of blade to pull out, it's very easy. So it feels like a 5, 4 or 5. After the half stop, I would call this about a 6. Good tension though. Now the one complaint already, again, kind of like the last knife, is the plunge grind. Plunge grind and choil again. You can already see that it already started to smile again. You can see that little, how it's getting thicker right there. So it's just going to continue to do that. Now with this, I'm not sure. Okay, so they have a stop pin in there, which is cool. Yeah, they do have a stop pin in there. I'm just not sure where it lands. If I had to guess, I'm going to guess it lands in that groove, which would not be good for cutting in a choil. But it's hard to say. Let me look at it. Yeah, I'm guessing the stop pin is right behind, or just falls right into that groove. So it is what it is. It's not that big of a deal. You just got to sharpen up the blade and make sure you don't sharpen that out. But if you wound up having sharpening this out, hopefully, I can't really tell 100%, but hopefully, I know it hits here. I just can't tell if it hits more towards the edge or more towards the thicker part. Hopefully, it's on more towards the thicker part, where it should be. They shouldn't be trying to put it in the thinner steel area, but which would allow you to continue sharpening it, and you just have to sharpen up the blade and make sure you don't sharpen out back here. But I just don't like to see it when it's too close at all. Like just keep it separate, keep it far away. But cool knife, very, like I said, ergonomic, great action for a slip joint, and it's going to be very, very slicey. And you guys already know I love my 14C 28N, and when you get 14C with the super thin geometry like this, yeah, the performance it goes up, man, and it's a steel that really likes thin geometry, because we got to remember, Sandvik steel came basically from razor blades. So that's where it was first starting to be used. Not actually 14C. I think 14C, the first time it was introduced was for Kershaw's, but it was made for blade steel. So it originally comes from AEBL. Now AEBL is where Sandvik comes from. Now AEBL, when it was first introduced, it was for razor blades, and it was made to heat treat very easily, so that's why it's great for these knife companies to use. Now 14C is a massive upgrade, but You know, it's got plenty of toughness, good edge retention, easy to sharpen, and it does really good with super thin geometry. Yeah. All right, guys. So just a quick look at these two new knives. Let me know what you think down in the comments. I love you guys. Peace.